It's exactly 11:37, and we are now going to be talking with Zyboonisa Moola Adams. This interview will take us up to 12 o'clock exactly, and then thereafter we have two more interviews. This time around, we're going to be looking at breaking the silence. Zyboonisa Moola Adams, our guest for this interview, is a counselor and mentor, and she says that she supports individuals navigating the complexities of mental health. She focuses on wellness strategies, building emotional resilience and inclusive support systems, especially in spaces where mental illness and neurodiversity are often misunderstood and overlooked. Zyboonisa Moola Adams, Salaam alaikum to you. Welcome to the program.
Walaikum salam. It's a pleasure being here.
Okay, so you want to talk about breaking the silence, and your focus regarding this mental health issue is all about postnatal depression. And I'm kind of wondering why you chose this particular topic, and why does this differ from the more commonly known um, other types of depression, and why we're focusing on baby blues?
I think for me, it's something that's very common. So, one in three women in South Africa actually experience postnatal depression. And if you look at the situation itself, people don't often come up for help, and it's something that's not really understood properly. So, there's a lot of opportunity for us to make a difference and to help those that are navigating postnatal depression, because people don't really understand what's the difference between baby blues and postnatal depression.
So tell us, what is the difference?
The difference is with baby blues, you come and have your change in emotions, and it lasts for about 2 weeks, not longer. You know, you have a bit of emotionalness, you teary eyes, a bit of sadness, but as the 2 weeks pass, you know those feelings subside. With postnatal depression, it lasts longer and the feelings become more intense. So you feel a lot of sadness, hopelessness. You feel as though you're not doing a good job. You don't bond and connect with your baby, and you don't actually reach out to others for help because people see it as a sign of weakness. You know, they think as a mother you need to be perfect, and that's not actually the right mental frame of mind that we should be thinking from.
So you said something very important then. I want to know, what are the repercussions? All right, we understand that when a young lady who's just given birth starts experiencing postnatal depression, it's a very, very difficult time for her. However, at the same time, it's equally impactful on the baby, because because of her state, her mental state of mind, she doesn't bond with the baby. So, what sort of impact is it going to have on the baby? And as he or she reaches toddlerhood, what's that impact look like?
You know, in terms of relationships and strength, if the bond isn't there both when the baby's born, it impacts the child's behavior as they grow older. So they don't feel solid in their foundation, and they feel disconnected from their family and the support system. So it's something that we have to really work with, and it's something that there is a solution for it. A lot of mothers feel helpless in the situation, but they don't actually know that speaking up and looking for support is an option.
So let's assume the mother then gets the required or necessary support in overcoming postnatal depression. Clearly, she needs to go for counseling, and in certain instances, there would be should have to go on meds as well to contain the severity of the depression. But in the meantime, I'm kind of wondering about the focus being taken off the baby. What's happening to baby? Is baby left in the care of other people, other support family structures to take care of baby, whilst mom is beginning to heal?
It's important to understand that a mother won't completely disconnect when the baby's born. They would feel that gap and they need to work on the emotions. So the support would be needed in cases when they need to go for therapy, and that works for counseling and coaching, that a family member could support them by taking care of the baby for that moment in time. But a lot of the strategies that we teach and techniques is how they go back and rebuild the bond with the baby. So it could be soft one-on-one touches of the skin, feeding techniques, bonding techniques that will help the mother reconnect, which is exercises that you work with through your counseling sessions.
Do you find that more and more mothers with their babies are coming to counselors like yourself with these type of issues? Or do they, I know in the past it was dismissed. Our grannies and our moms, used to kind of say to you, we're here to
Get
support you
over it.
for 30 or 40 days after the birth of the baby. But the actual mental health support, I don't think was forthcoming. They helped us physically and, taking care of baby and helping us get back, getting better physically. But I'm not sure if we were served well enough regarding mental health support.
Are you 100% correct in what you're saying? So there's a lot of stigma attached to mental health and also becoming a new mother. So a lot of thinking in cultures in society is that you should just cope. You take the little support that you get, but you have to cope. You're a strong woman and you cope with it. But the reality is that if we don't speak up and get support and help, those situations don't heal themselves. The mom doesn't recover, and it has a longer impact in terms of the baby's well-being and all the relationships that the mother has, because it impacts the spouse. It could impact other family members as well. So we need to talk a lot more about that, and people need to understand that mental illness is something that needs to be worked. It's not something to be shied away from, and we need to be able to open up the channels for people to speak about their well-being and the mental health states.
Okay, we're going to go for an ad break, and when we come back, we'll continue this very important discussion regarding
Okay.
postnatal depression and the
Depression
type of help that is offered out there, that is available. So please
available.
do stay with us.
Crocodile River bordering the Kruger National Park. As a guest at Buckler's Africa Lodge, one can enjoy an amazing sunrise or sunset on our spacious deck area while you catch a glimpse of some wildlife sightings along the Crocodile River. The sounds of the African savannah will greet you whilst you enjoy your morning coffee. Buckler's Africa Lodge by Tingana Collection. Buckler's Africa Lodge is ideally situated only 6 kilometers from the Crocodile Bridge Gate in the Kruger National Park. Catering for all travelers with variety, we have 4 types of the finest rooms: superior rooms, deluxe suites, and 2-bedroomed family units. Each room is equipped with the finest amenities to make your stay unforgettable. Guests can choose between the self-catering option or book their accommodation with breakfast and dinner included. Buckler's Africa Lodge is your ideal location for the ultimate Kruger getaway experience. We specialize in exhilarating and educational game drives in Kruger, tailor-made to suit your family. Inquire about our various accommodation offerings and other activities. Visit www.tingana.co.za for more information. Buckler's Africa Lodge by Tingana Collection. Experience the pulse of Africa with us.
Discover the Africa of your dreams and surround yourself with her spectacular beauty. Relax beneath her serene sunsets and explore wildlife at its natural best. It's where the pride of Africa comes together. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve. Get to know the Big Five or cruise on an elephant safari game drive. Interact with lion and tiger cubs and enjoy world-class halal cuisine while we pamper you during your 5-star stay. Indulge in the true African experience. For reservations, call now on 042-203-1400 or visit kwantu.co.za. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve, the place of gathering.
World-class financial services only at Sapphire Global, your financial partner. If you are looking for Islamic Sharia and ethical financial products, look no further. Sapphire Global offers a wide range of financial service offerings from short-term to life and investments. A full-service center with all financial requirements under one brand. Our highly skilled and experienced consultants are ready to help protect your financial future. Contact us on 041 001 0184 or visit our website on www.sapphireglobalfs.com. Sapphire Global is an authorized financial services provider.
Kids these days are smart, and when you're competing for their attention against their smartphones, you need to make smart choices, like using Sunfoil triple refined pure sunflower oil in every meal you make. It's naturally cholesterol-free and approved by the Heart and Stroke Foundation as part of a balanced eating plan. So whether you're cooking, frying, or baking, you get the great tasting results that'll get their attention faster than the latest app. And if that doesn't work, change the Wi-Fi password. Sunfoil. Now we're cooking.
It's a new beginning. It's a new era. Salam Media. Humanitarian journalism.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome back. It is 11:48. This is the Mid-Morning Show with me, Julie Ali, and my guest is Zyboonisa Moola Adams. She's a counselor and mentor, and we are talking about the all-important subject on postnatal depression. So welcome back to you, Zyboonisa. And I think the all-important question would be, how can partners, family members, or friends support someone going through postnatal depression in a healthy and constructive way? You know, we often hear people saying, oh, get over it. You know, come on, it's not that bad. And, you know, just snap out of it. That doesn't do it, does it?
It doesn't do it at all, and there's no solution. The reality is, you spend so many months preparing for this new life to come. You're so excited about it. Nobody takes into account the changes that you're going to go through. And family, spouses, parents need to create an environment that is a safe space for females to talk about it. So listen without judgment, guide them, offer to take them for help them with the chores, give them a break, give them a rest, and allow them the opportunity to get off all the emotions that they're feeling. Because as they start speaking about things and they can come to you, it makes it easier for them to actually go for help because they realize they're not alone. And families and support structures play an important role because we can't do it alone. I personally experienced postnatal depression, and the most important thing that got me through it was my family support.
Alhamdulillah for that. Now, as counselors and life coaches, what type of approaches or tools do you use to support clients experiencing this horrible disease or condition, which we refer to as postnatal depression?
The first thing you do is each case is unique. You can't give this every individual, the same experience. You have to understand the person that's coming to you, and you have to give him a safe space where they can speak and get off all the emotions. And as you work in counsel and coaching, you speak about how they're feeling and what are the ways that they can work through the situation or small things that they can change to help them feel better. And you allow them space to go back and then apply it and see what works or not. And always give them that opportunity to come back and share with you what worked, what hasn't, and then just work on it together. You by interacting and being involved and being fully present, you actually help the situation move along faster so that the mom can heal and work well again and function normally.
So, Bonisa, let's just ask this very important question. Let's assume a young lady has just had a baby's a couple of weeks old, and she then goes into deep depression, postnatal depression. Nobody picks it up, or the family is not attuned to that possibility that after a baby you can suffer from this condition. And she's just left to her own devices. She doesn't have the necessary support. How much of damage is she going to take onto her persona by not seeking help? What sort of repercussions are we looking at in this scenario?
It's got significant damage. So, from a physical perspective, the experience changes. They're not eating well, they're not sleeping properly, they're feeling extremely, extremely down. And that filters then to the baby. So there's no connection built. They feel more and more disconnected. And if it's left for longer, the situation can get very severe. So it takes longer to recover. Postnatal depression is an illness that takes time to heal. And the sooner you start talking about the emotions and working through what you're experiencing. By journaling also, you can start unpacking and doing something about the way you feel. And it's important to look for help. There's channels to look for help. Speak to someone you trust. There's support groups out there. There's SADC. There's 1,000 women that works with the support line as well. We're available online to assist. I do a lot of my work voluntarily. So people can reach out to me as well. And we can work together on a solution that can help them empower themselves and overcome what they're dealing
Admirable that you do such a lot of voluntary social work. But just coming back to the young lady who's just had the baby, who's going through postnatal depression, if help is not offered to her, or she doesn't go out actively and seek the help, it can be very damaging for her marital relationship as well. Because I think that's
with.
something
Absolutely.
people overlook. That marriage will then be in serious trouble.
In serious trouble, you have a home in trouble, a relationship in trouble, and a family because there could be additional kids involved. And, it has a spiraling impact. So it can get worse. And the longer you take to work with it, the harder it is to overcome it. And I think it's important for partners and family to, be aware of the symptoms because, when you're going through postnatal depression, there's quite a significant change in your overall morale. And we should be aware of it as our moms and our daughters, our sisters actually have babies to, have those conversations that are open and real. Because if we do, we empower and allow space for people to talk about the challenges.
Absolutely. So, can you share a success story with us where coaching and counseling made a significant difference in someone's life?
Recently I had a case of a young girl who just had a baby, and she was finding it very difficult to bond with the baby, and also she was feeling extremely, extremely helpless and disconnected. So she felt as though she was a bad mom, and I created a safe space for her to talk. We worked through some journaling techniques. We solution different ways that can help. And the techniques of connecting with the baby, like skin to skin touch, different feeding techniques, and then also giving her the understanding that she has to take care of herself. So, having that bit of a rest, taking a walk, having a relaxing bath, and as she worked through those things and we worked through her case, she actually got to a point where she felt the change and she said to me that, she hadn't felt that good in a long while, which was really meaningful for me.
And of course, as you indicated earlier on in the discussion, that people are different. People have different personalities and different coping mechanisms. So no two cases are alike. So your work is cut out because people are so different and you need to be attuned to what would work for person A as opposed to person B. But still sticking on the subject, are there any specific red flags or crisis points when a client should seek medical or psychiatric help in addition to counseling or coaching?
I think, that's something that's very important is that if the individual feels they can harm themselves or cause harm to their baby, and they're feeling extremely, extremely demotivated and sad, and it's an immense feeling. It's not, your normal slight sadness or emotion. Then they got to seek help. It has to happen at that point in time because they can do significant damage if they don't.
Very quickly before we wrap up, how can someone, apart from coming to you as a counselor, a family member, how can they differentiate between um, just pre-parent stress as pre-parent stress and versus a deeper mental health concern like post natal depression, and
Natal
also
depression.
in the same vein, if a young lady suffers from postnatal depression after having a baby, is that indicative of the fact that for the rest of her life she's going to have mental health issues if she doesn't attend to, if she doesn't go for counseling and therapy or even psychiatric assistance?
I think for me, what's important is knowing that they can speak up and that they've got a voice. So they're strong if they actually look for help. In terms of not handling their postnatal depression, the 2 week time frame after having a baby, once you see there's a change in you longer than that, and the feelings are becoming more and more intense, then you know exactly that you're faced with postnatal depression. It's not just your normal stress that you can overcome. You need to look for help and look for support mechanism to enable you to overcome that. In terms of not coping with it, it can spiral into something bigger. So your postnatal depression can lead to normal depression, and that can also then become post-traumatic stress disorder. So it can affect your mental health further down the line if you don't actually work with the way you feel at that point in time. And this applies to your normal state of mind as well. When you're not okay, seeking help and actually speaking to those that you trust and, voicing it, and it is a way of actually seeking help and overcoming, the illness and the challenges that you face.
Zyboonisa, as we wrap up, any words of wisdom you'd like to share with new moms regarding this specific condition?
I think for me, they need to know they're not alone. And speaking up is a sign of strength, and taking your role seriously as a mother. There is help, and they need to be compassionate towards themselves and understand they've been through significant changes and that it's normal. A majority of women experience, postnatal depression and depression, and they're not alone. We have to help.
Okay, it's not anything to be shy about. Speak up, seek
Yes,
the help, and be a wonderful, loving mother that bonds with a baby. You're not the only
maybe.
one. This is probably 99% of young girls after giving birth to their babies will go through some form of postnatal depression.
Hopefully.
Zyboonisa Moola Adams, counselor and mentor from Bosmont in Johannesburg. An absolute pleasure talking to you about a very important matter. Allah accept from you, keep you well, and continue helping all those young ladies get over postnatal depression. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. The pleasure was all mine.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
It is 11:59 a.m. We're moving along with the mid-morning talk with me, Julie Ali. And after the break, we have two more very important topics that we are going to be covering on the show. So please stay with us.